What's up, guys? I am Josh with the Crypto Gaming King, Brandon.
I am
Um,
Brandon Grant, and yeah, welcome to WAGMI News.
yeah, me and Brandon go way back. We've been talking about crypto for probably the better part of the last year, and then you got really heavily in this project because you like gaming crypto and got me in this project, and we both fell in love with it so much. We have thrown so much cash at this. We're either geniuses or idiots, and I'm gonna go with the first bet, right? And yeah, we kind of became, I guess, mini whales of sorts. And we were so in love with this project. We're amazed at the amount of people that don't know about it, that we kind of just wanted to talk about general things in crypto, but also talk about how dope this project is in a way.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. I was in a lot of other projects, maybe 50 other projects, and I just consolidated them all into three projects: Bitcoin and WAGMI, and one other one that we'll probably touch on at some point. But today is all about WAGMI
Yeah, dude.
Game
Let's do it.
Ecosystem.
Pull that website up, man. I'm so excited to share. I'm shocked at the
Good.
amount of people that haven't found this yet because I've seen market caps of projects that are, I don't want to throw names out, but let's imagine there was pixelated monsters that have a $70 million market cap with nothing. And we actually got to see the trailer early that we reacted to that'll be posted after this because we can't have any spoilers. It comes out on March 7th, so just tomorrow. But
Which
this
was
is,
sick. Look at this quality right
yeah,
here.
it is just, it was jaw. It was like if you are a video gamer, if you were into games like we were, imagine the first time you saw like Halo and how epic Halo was with this like outer space alien. It was like that on steroids. Like it was so cool to see this now being brought to a decentralized crypto space. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just take a look at their website here. So you have all completely hand drawn from scratch assets, and then they did 3D rendering on it and brought them to life, and they just look so crisp, so clean. And all of their assets are, you can scroll down through here. We'll go over each of the things that I just scrolled past, but take a look at their map here. I don't know if it's going to let me scroll in. There we go. Just everything hand drawn artwork from
Mm-hmm.
scratch.
So it's like a tower defense card style game. But you jumped in with WAGMI. We both got in on the whitelist, but you beat me to the punch because you were into all these different gaming projects. And you're like, dude, this is the one you got to get in on this. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to get in on this. So, real fast for people that haven't heard of this project. So, WAGMI obviously is an acronym that means we're all going to make it, right? And you see that all through crypto, which I absolutely love because it's the coolest acronym that could represent anything in crypto to have that branded as your name. But it didn't start as a game. What is the history behind WAGMI and how did this come about?
The history behind WAGMI is actually pretty heartwarming story. Well, not actually the beginning, but
That's pretty brutal.
so yeah. So the core four leaders that are leading this project, they actually were in on a meme coin together, and that was called WAGMI, and it was another contract from a developer that launched it. And long story short, these four people put in a lot of money and they got rug pulled, lost all of their money. So did many other people. And then these four people met and they said, what can we do with this WAGMI name? And one of them already had a game being produced. And so they just took that game, remade it into this theme, and yeah, have it WAGMI battle cry to save Earth, humans versus aliens. And they're making a tower defense game for their first game and using that revenue to build a second game, which is going to be an MMORPG play to earn game. The first game will be a wagering game, so they can get to market right away. They don't have to worry about the play to earn tokenomics. And they just did everything brilliantly, from what I just said with wagering and not play to earn tokenomics right away, but then also partnering with a gaming development company with a 12-month contract So they have to do the next 12 months with them developing the game. So immediately I was like, take my money. You're going to
Yeah.
produce a game. So I want to be invested here.
Right.
And everything that they're putting out, I'm like, I got to put more money in because it's the best stuff that I've seen being delivered in the space. It's pretty incredible.
Yep. And then there's something to be said about a team that'll stay after being rug pulled. I mean, they get burned and they were like, you know what? No, we're gonna be a phoenix and like build up out of these ashes, because I've seen rug pull projects before and most just dissipate, or it's kind of like, oh well, screw everybody that invested. And these guys decided, no, not only did we lose six figures, probably a piece, they then stayed on and then airdropped and reimbursed and kept the original people in it. And I have seen a few times where you've had rug pull projects that build back up and they wind up being something special, because one, you have good leadership that's clear about a mission, but they have integrity to stay through a rug pull and then say, no, we're going to be better than that. Let's bring something positive to the crypto space, because we know crypto is the Wild West, right? Like anything can happen. So bad people obviously can take advantage of that. But the good news is that good people outnumber bad people. And when you see people like this core group, it's really kind of inspiring to what you can do in the space,
Yeah, seriously, the fact that they took the money out of their own pockets and refunded some of the people from the old coin just to say, hey, make yourself whole and consider looking at this new project and staying with us and not selling out what we just gave you, and maybe investing some more and trusting us long term. And it's turned out great. They've pulled through for all of their investors so far, just producing great assets. So
yeah. So for those of you who are into games, this is a Clash Royale type game. It's a wagering type game, but it's even cooler because you say like, oh, I may be into games, or, you might have grown up with games like we did, going from like the original Nintendo. Some of y'all go way back to the Atari, the N64, the PS1, the PS2, so on and so forth. But if you're not a big gamer, there's also something really cool about this. Can you whip up the tokenomics real fast? Because I want to talk about something I was absolutely shocked in seeing, that I didn't even know about when I first got into it, right? And then I've gone to check and it's legit. So like here on the taxes, there's a 10% tax to dissuade people from obviously selling, right? And like part of it's marketing, so they can get this out to people. 2% to product development, which is going to make a lot of sense when I come back. 1.5% auto liquidity. We'll explain that a touch when we get into numbers, but this 1% redistribution or reflections. So if you actually hold this token in your wallet, what happens is every time there's a sell, there's a tax, right? And 1% of the amount that's sold is split among all wallet holders, depending on how much token you earn, in percentage to how much token you earn. So I think like even since November, with like very little trading volume, because it's a new thing, I've gotten probably in today's valuation, like $180, $190 in just reflections tokens. And I know your stack dwarfs mine. So at some point, if there's enough trading volume, I mean, yeah. So like Axie, like what's the trading volume on Axie today? Yeah,
so
229 million. I mean, that's
yeah,
insane.
so 229 million, and 1% of that would be so
2.9 million.
230.
Yeah. So you divide that up, and then this happens every
That
single
is
day.
2.3 million distributed to all the holders at 1%. Axie doesn't, I don't believe, have this, but if this was WAGMI at this market cap, because this game is, better than Axie in my opinion, and it could reach this level. At this level, we're going to be receiving 2.3 million in reflections distributed to all of the holders per day.
Yeah.
That is an incredible number. And this is with Axie at a 3x smaller market cap than its all-time high.
Yep. And then what else is cool about this is you mentioned this is a wagering system. So when you play a card game, it's kind of like pink slips in racing, right? You have a certain amount of tokens and it's simple. You play the game and you issue amount of tokens, it's matched, and then you bet and the winner takes tokens. These are transactions. So the game in and of itself generates transactions. So if you want to play the game, you can play and win. It's the first time ever for us gamers. You remember the days you had to buy systems, buy games, then play. But now you're actually getting a free game. You just buy the token and you can play and you can earn money. So not only does that happen for like hardcore gamers, but for the people who hold it, they're going to make money on how much the game's played because it's transactional. And also the team's getting 2% back on that to create more games. So this first game is a catalyst for a whole explosion of games that could be made.
Exactly. I mean, we used to pay developers for a single game, a single experience, and then that experience would just gain dust on our shelves once we move on to the next game, and it's all just kind of wasted. And so in this new world, this new reality, when you're done with a game, you can essentially sell off those assets, take out that value, and move on to the next game, the next experience that you want to, spend your time in.
Oh, speaking of
dollars.
You bring up a good point there. You're talking about selling off assets. We're talking about more than just coins. What's coming mid this? So it's March 2022. Here in about a week or 2 weeks, what's coming out that's going to be the first?
The NFT drop.
The Genesis NFT, man. So like when I look at this, yeah, it's cool to have like, I have a JPEG of a monkey, like that's cool to have, right? But like actual utility. So if you guys have played like Fortnite and you know about the skins and you know about so on and so forth, this is like the first of the WAGMI. You'll get to be part of the Genesis collection if you see this in time, which is kind of really cool OG status because you not only get to have, armor, or you get to have a character that's basically a one of a kind you'll recognize it as one of the originals, which is super dope.
Yeah, and you get some cool stuff as well with it. I mean, I think it says everything on this page, so I won't pull up that other picture, but it's profit sharing from the game. You get NFT assets that can be used in the game as power-ups and armor and whatnot for when you're playing, and those will be just deposited into your wallet each month for free, just for participating in this first Genesis NFT launch. There's also some other exclusive assets that you get access to, and you get first dibs on trying out the game,
which
itself.
Will probably also be for the MMORPG too, if I had to guess.
Probably. And yeah, so there's a lot of benefits. There's a screenshot that you can find in their Telegram, and you can come to this page.
Yep. So it's really cool here because just like I mentioned, reflections on holding tokens, you kind of get the same thing if you're in NFTs, because you're like, oh, I don't care about the NFTs because I'm not going to play the game. You have some people that only care about NFTs. Then you have people that only want to play the game. Then you have people like us. We got the tokens. We're going to buy the NFT. We're going to play the game. So if you have the tokens, you get reflections on transactional volume. And if you have the NFT, you get returns based on NFT volume. So buying power-ups, buying armor, buying characters. Like it's an awesome way to not only where you can play in a community, but you also get rewarded for being simply a part of the community. You are investing in the whole ecosystem itself, which is super dope.
Yeah. So what did you say there? The reflections are feedback or revenue from transactional volume, and then the NFTs would be from the NFT marketplace, any sales on there. Yeah. So it's double-edged sword way to get into the,
plus it's status, you know what I mean? Like people don't wear Rolls Royces because it's like, oh, this tells time to a millisecond degree better than the watch I got at Walmart, right? It's like, because that's a status symbol, and this is the same thing. It's like, why do you have pictures of apes, right? It's a status thing.
This is sick right here. I would put this on my wall,
right? And to have like an original one, dude, like, so if this gets as big as Axie, which I think it will, because I'm telling you, we just saw the trailer and this wipes the floor with anything we've seen. And if you see, if this game gets that big and they have NFT drops in series, and you have like a series 1, the Genesis NFT drop, I mean, that's going to be, you were there since day one. You know what I mean? You know how cool that is.
Like, it's just so clean, this artwork, like the detail that they put in to all of this. And so long story short, original assets, it's not Pixelmon out there taking pre-made assets, putting them all together, meshing them. Any developer, any person on earth can go research developing on YouTube, go to a pre-made asset marketplace, compile them all together, upload them all to a Twitter page, market them, get an audience to invest. and then say they're going to launch a game, but don't know how to do it and just
Yep.
run away with the money.
Yep.
Anyone can do that.
And then, you mentioned a cool thing about this isn't pre-made. These are all hand rendered. These are all hand drawn, then rendered to be part of the game. Like this
Yes.
comes directly from the guys who created the game, comes directly from their fingertips to Cubics, the company that's developing the game, and they render the actual art creations that the guys had in mind. So you're getting the clearest picture of what they had in mind when they wanted to create the game, and that can't be replaced.
Exactly. Like look at this video. Look at how cool all this stuff works. This artwork and all of this groundwork that they're putting in now is setting it up so they can launch this mobile app game and make it good over the next couple of months with these assets. And then they're going to have all the groundwork done with the assets already made to just launch the next game, the MMORPG, where we're going to be running around Call of Duty style, Skyrim style, Elder Scrolls style, Halo style. And Crypto Chartist, the game CGO, is absolutely brilliant. And he is just combining, the best ideas come to the perfect play to earn game for a gamer, and it's going to be exciting to see.
Yeah, games made by gamers. But there's one more. So we've talked about the art side of things. We've talked about what's cool about this project. But then there are people like me that at the bottom line, it's like, okay, this is fun and I like to play games, but time is money and I also like to invest. Let's talk real quick about like the differences of market cap in WAGMI and liquidity in WAGMI versus that of larger projects, and why this could be even now, like you didn't have to get it in November, even right now, how this is such a prime opportunity to make so much because you're on the floor level.
Yeah, so we'll go over the numbers so people can understand the comparison to other projects. But something I just wanted to touch on, because you just mentioned more or less risk is something that you just mentioned. And something that made me go big on WAGMI and why I own so much is because they locked themselves into a 12-month contract with a gaming development company that's been around for 14 years. They've done over 600 games.
Yeah, something like that.
And they have over 550 clients. So they are going to follow through on this game, whether it's one of the best games on the market or if it's one in the middle. That is going to be found out over the next couple of months. But they're going to have a game, and all of the other games that are crypto games that are out there, I've analyzed them all, and they're all between 50 million to 100 million to $1 billion market cap.
Axie's
some of them
what, 4 billion or something?
3 billion right now. So it's get out of here.
And then I think we're what,
fun.
We're at 6 million, I think is what it is.
I mean, I have it right here. It's
we're at 6 million.
It's 3 billion right now, but it was 9 billion at its
peak. I'm talking about WAGMI. I think we're at 6 million, right?
Yeah, for WAGMI. So comparison, this is the market leader for crypto gaming. It's at 3 billion market cap, and WAGMI is at a 2.3 million on this chain, which would
be BNB, and probably slightly higher on Ethereum. So you're looking at 5.5 million maybe market cap compared to 3 billion, or not even, like, let's say, like, okay, you can't shoot, like, we don't hit Axie, right? Let's say if it's one of these middle range, that's 600-700 million. That is still over 100x from where it currently is. That is insanity.
Absolutely. I mean, it's insane what it could go to. The other one that I really love, because you can literally hop in and play it. Right now, I got into playing it a lot. It's a really fun game.
It's at 120.
This one's at 125 million. And I think that the game that we're coming out with since Clash Royale, so Clash Royale revenue.
Because God forbid all these, we're going to talk about this later, of course, but all these big companies are buying up gaming companies, Microsoft and Sony, they're all buying up, spending billions and billions of dollars to buy gaming because
we're going to go over that.
Yeah, I think, what did you tell me? You said they project that gaming of all media, of all movies, of all music, gaming will be the largest segment of all sales in media.
I'm going to pull up the article, but just real quick to drop it. They're projecting it to jump from, I have the exact numbers, but they're projecting it to jump from around 200 to up to $356 billion this upcoming year.
1 year.
This upcoming year.
Yeah.
So I'll get the numbers on what it was in the past because I have them written down. But look at this. Clash Royale, the game that WAGMI is mimicking for their gameplay style with all original assets. So they can easily go to these players and say, hey, this game, you guys know how to play this game. It's a cooler theme and you can make money while doing it. It's going to immediately pull from this audience. It's going to pull from a crypto gaming audience that is already out there. Then they're going to do marketing blitzes. They got Facebook ads, all this stuff planned. It's got a brilliant person at their marketing.
Yep. And something to point out here, this 2.24 billion, that is not the market cap of what Supercell made. That is the revenue. So this would be the yearly transacted volume of which you could get 1% of. Supercell, the name, or the Clash Royale brand name, is worth far more than that. If it can generate billions a year, people have to pay forward multiples of that. So this easily could be $10 billion, you know?
Yeah, man, that's an awesome game to mimic right there. So that is
we're at
what
6 million.
So this, I'm going to put this over here. This game is going to be mimicking this game and pull from their audience, bring them into a game that can actually pay them money and people can get paid to play games, make an income. And it looks, I think it looks like what every great gamer would dream, which is like some like sci-fi thing. I think a lot of gamers are into that type of thing.
So I just did the math. If you had the same revenue, the same exchange of transaction that Clash Royale had on this year, that would be splitting $6.5 million a day in reflections. So let's say you owned, I don't know, 0.5%, which is still reasonable at this low market cap, right? So if you owned 0.5%, that means you would receive $32,000, almost $33,000 worth.
Oh my gosh.
A day.
So yeah, that is going to be a lot of money one day if we hold on, which I would definitely plan on doing. I don't have any other investments. Holding Bitcoin as my safe investment. This is my, one altcoin that I found out of the sea that really is executing on everything that they have said that they're doing. This is the one piece I wanted to say about what makes WAGMI different is their leadership and execution.
Yeah.
They have basically been transparent about anything that is delaying and then set another plan that they then stick to. And they're super just upfront, transparent, and they're super skilled and qualified with everything that they've done in the past. So very good team and glad to be part of a project with the.
And from a game point of view, it's got everything you want, right? It's got a catchy name. I love post rug pull type projects. That's just me. That's just something I have found in the space. Like I said, the acronym's untouchable. It's the best. They've got great graphics. They have a great website. They have a great system set into play with a plan for the future. They've got utility in NFT. They got utility in token. And in both of those, plus the gameplay itself, they reward players and members who hold tokens and NFTs. That to me, it goes to show that it's not some wealth creation strategy for them just to escape. It's something that they build, they're invested in because they're actively every single day of the year giving money back. Imagine if you owned Apple stock and Apple decided to give you 1% back on everything Apple sold on that day, 1% back among everybody who had owned Apple stock. Like, you don't see that. You know what I mean? So like, this goes to show you that the spoils are there for people that care, because in a decentralized space, we don't have the middlemen that you have to have in the corporate world. And that we're so new that you could be part of it. Yeah, they're $1.5 trillion
Imagine
company.
getting in on Apple stock when it was at $5 million market cap. So if we go from a $5 million market cap to even 1% of what Apple is at, with 1 trillion, we'll be at 1 billion, and we will all be very not having to be thinking about money anymore. So
Yeah.
that is what we're thinking about with this investment, getting in early. And yeah,
Right,
I
hit us with
love
some
the
numbers, man.
reflections.
Hit us with some numbers. Let's compare WAGMI up real fast with
Yeah, so we went over basically all the stuff about the project, right? We went
yeah,
over the NFTs, we went
yeah,
over the trailer
dollar
that's
game, yeah,
dropping. The
borrowed.
full trailer will be dropping end of month, right before the game launch. And then yeah, other than that, come on the website, look at their story
Yeah.
or the
Join us in the
game
Telegram.
story,
Yeah.
which is year 20 or 3022, aliens versus humans, and then come and look at how to buy it. We'll go over that. And then take a look at their team, their story, all of their qualifications. Come do that on your own, and the roadmap, which they have stuck to. So that's the website. And hop over to the chart. So you want me to pull up the market cap to liquidity?
No, you don't have to. I mean, the biggest thing you need to know really is like, so you look, so this is BNB and WAGMI, right? So you look at the market cap is 2.3 million, not 3.8 billion that you would see in Axie, not 700 million that you see in Illuvium and other great games like that. Because we're not saying anything negative about these games. We're saying we believe this could be bigger and better than those games, is what we're saying. There's two things that strike me about this, well, three things really. One, the market cap's only, it's about 6 million on both chains. But we'll just look at BNB. So the first thing here, market cap's 2.3 million. The multiplier space, let's say this becomes mediocre and becomes a fourth of what Axie does, and it approaches what, $750 million. I mean, you're looking at hundreds of multiple there. So that's the first thing. The second thing you look at is a lot of tokens have a release schedule depending on if you earn something in game, if they do a proof of work where you have to mine like Bitcoin. There's 3 million Bitcoin yet to be mined. Axie does something similar. So Axie, it's they only have like 30% of their supply out there. So if you look at the total valuation, it's actually like 14 billion. They have very little out. So they have a lot of diluting to still go through. Well, WAGMI has 100% of their token out, which I like. So what you see is what you get. And the last thing is something, Brandon, you were pointing out to me, which makes a lot of sense. When you give money to a liquidity pool, you have to have obviously enough liquidity to transact, because if one side of the liquidity pool goes empty, then all of a sudden the price plummets, right? Because there's nothing to compare it to. This isn't something to get into like how deep liquidity pools go. But when you look at WAGMI, it's a 4x multiplier essentially. So if somebody were to sell, now they have to pay the tax on selling, but if somebody were to sell big, it's not going to immediately shock tank the price. But let's say somebody had been holding Axie since the beginning, where I think it was 1,000 to 1 or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
If somebody were to sell off a big holding of Axie, it could literally empty the exchange, causing everything to be illiquid and the price to tank instantaneously. So
yeah, so let's take an example here with WAGMI. You have on the BNB side $2.3 million. So if you own 1% of the supply, that is going to be $30,000. And so if I were going to want to go and take all of that $30,000 out of in WAGMI and convert it into BNB, that would take $30,000 out of the pool, and it would hurt the price a little bit. But if we were to go over to Axie here and take a look at theirs, they have a $3.6 billion market cap with $3.2 million in here.
There's not even enough liquidity.
When you do the math on that, WAGMI's is a 5x multiple. And when you do the math on Axie, it's a 1,154x multiple. So if you were in Axie anywhere in the beginning and you didn't join the hype here, and you are up massive, and you have a couple $1 million to your name, you almost cannot go and sell out of all of it because you will actually kill the project that you have conviction in. And so that's why when projects are built without strong liquidity pools and tokenomics, they can tank because it relies on the investors to diamond hand the entire way. That's the problem with play to earn tokenomics.
And you're not even getting anything for holding.
It's not proven yet, because exactly. They need to prove the play to earn tokenomics. And that's why WAGMI went with wagering first. They're going to launch this first game. And then once play to earn tokenomics are proven in 6 months to a year, they're going to have a model to mimic and go forward with their second game, the MMORPG. So yes, if you had a couple million here, you would not be able to.
And it goes back to the idea of what I meant when they only have about 20 to 30% of their tokens actually circulating. So it's this double-edged sword there. Yeah, you can make a lot of money by holding 1, 2, 3%, but now you can't sell out. So the only way to add more liquidity would be to dilute it, essentially, which would be releasing more of those tokens. But as they release more of those tokens, your total ownership goes down because there's more tokens now in circulation. With WAGMI, every bit of the supply is 100% out there. So what you see is what you get. There's no diluting. It's what, 1 trillion?
Right here, we have 1 trillion tokens of WAGMI circulating. So that means if you were to come in right now, instead of on Axie, where there's about 5x more tokens to still be released into the ecosystem within the coming years, with WAGMI, all of the tokens have been released. So if you come and you buy some of the WAGMI tokens now and lock up the supply in your wallet, we're going to cause this massive supply shock with no token unlocks in the future. And essentially, they built this differently for a reason. There's also so everything that we're talking about, it sounds super bullish. They built another aspect into this, that it's like, why didn't other projects just do this from the beginning?
Well, a lot of times it's not obvious until someone does it, right?
I know, right? Do this from the beginning. So Josh, you can talk about this a little bit more, but it's like taking 1.5 of all transactions, 1.5% of all transactions, and putting them into this liquidity pool. So there will always be ample liquidity for the project to function, sell tokens on the market, to do the play to earn tokenomics, all the stuff.
One more thing I want to look at. So we have 4,100 holders on this side. Click on like Bezoge. That's just not even as big as Axie. How many holders? 30,000. Click on Axie. 108,000. Wait, no, that's Bezoge. Click on Axie. 67,000. I mean, like, we are so minuscule right now that I'm telling you, like, this is great. So we really want to dive.
Still have more to go.
Yeah, a lot more to go. We really want to dive a lot into these tokenomics and stuff, but we really wanted to get this out just to explain what this project is, because I know we've been actively in a group together for a year, just talking about different projects and things we found. And the moment this dropped, both of us immediately went in and have only been adding. I've not sold a single token. I've only been adding consistently the whole time. And we want to just kind of share this because we talk with this team every day. These guys are awesome. This project's awesome. And it's at a prime time now because the trailer teaser is being dropped tomorrow. The trailer's not even being dropped to the end of the month. The Genesis NFT is coming out in 2 weeks. And then the game should be dropping here in about a month. And then they're going to start building the MMORPG after that. So like, you are at such a prime time that we just want to share this. So that way no one can say like, oh, I wish I had heard about that when. Here it is. This is us telling you about that now.
Exactly. Here it is. And that's why I just want to like finish off on the most important part. I really think people don't take this part into account that much, the 10% tax on everything that goes towards marketing, getting more people into the ecosystem so they can improve the game, product development, improving the game, keeping the liquidity there so people can always function in the ecosystem, and then the redistributing to reward holders and then the team. This is so powerful in order to power the ecosystem forward. And what we have is they put in some money themselves, bootstrapped this project, and they had this cinematic trailer produced with this gaming company, and more or less, I don't know how much money they put in themselves, but the NFT launch to actually generate capital for the project isn't until the next week. So they haven't really done a huge raise yet in regards to money. And so they have done some of their own money, and they've created this trailer. And this is going to be a huge marketing thing for them to use and push out to people. And then from there, the NFT drop is going to give them a couple $1 million to use for marketing. They're going to do a lot of Facebook ads, push this out there. And then from there, the game launch and this tokenomics is going to feed the second game being produced. And it's just an extremely bullish investment where if they pull it off, you don't really have to, worry about it. Just keep making sure that they're pulling it off. Go check in the Telegram and following them and stuff.
And these guys are so nice. I mean, I've watched them take their own team earned funds. And when people have been down, I mean, the first day I ever joined the group, there was somebody whose child had a medical emergency, and immediately they're donating funds to them. I mean, I cannot speak highly enough about these guys. They're phenomenal. So check out this website. We'll get the links to the Telegram, the website, the Dex tools. We'll put all that stuff below, and then we'll start diving more and more. Yeah, as stuff starts dropping, we're gonna live react it. We're gonna talk about it as it's dropping. We're going to talk about the tokenomics behind this and how this applies to the general crypto space at large. So, we want to introduce WAGMI. We introduce WAGMI, introduce ourselves. I am Josh. That is Brandon. And we'll see you guys on the next episode.
This has been the WAGMI introduction. Have a nice day, everybody.